We know about the dossier and spying on President Trump's campaign. 2018, it was the Mueller investigation that was going on. 2020 is what we just talked about, the Biden laptop story. And in 2022, 91 days before the election, they raid President Trump's home. And they know about Joe Biden having a classified document concern before the election, and they don't tell us about that. So maybe just stay out of the elections, FBI, and let the American people decide who we want represented.
And that was House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan last week on this program on the politicization of the DOJ and the FBI. The National Archives revealing in a letter to Senators Grassley and Johnson on Tuesday that 9 boxes of documents were taken from the office of President Biden's attorney, Patrick Moore, but they have yet to be reviewed, even though the archives have had possession of this material since November. The boxes were shipped from the Penn Biden Center in Washington to Moore's law firm in Boston. Next month, Biden's former executive assistant from his time as vice president, Kathy Chung, will testify before the House Oversight Committee on the president's handling of classified documents. Joining me right now to look ahead is the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Kentucky Republican Congressman James Comer. Mr. Chairman, thanks very much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
First, I want to get your take on the news of the day, and that is this Silicon Valley Bank loss and this failure. You were on a bank board. You're the chairman of the Oversight Committee. What should be done here?
Well, look, this is something that I worry could be a trend. Usually when one bank goes down, more banks go down. And what we've seen early on from articles I've read in the Wall Street Journal and other financial publications is they invested a lot of cash that I would assume they had from things like the PPP loan, government policy, and they invested it in bonds. And then because the Democrats spent too much money in all their stimulus, the bonds go down when interest rates go up. The Fed had to raise interest rates to combat the Democrat inflation. And then we see now coming out that they were one of the most woke banks in their quest for the ESG type policy and investing. This could be a trend, and there are consequences for bad Democrat policy. And I think we need to keep an eye on all the banking sector right now.
Well, we're waiting for a solution. We are expecting an announcement of an acquisition of the Silicon Valley Bank before the markets open tomorrow. We'll see. But let me move on to the work that you've been doing. It's been a couple of weeks since we've spoken, and you've been digging in on the business of the Biden family. What have you learned?
Well, we've had a very good 2 weeks, Maria. We are finally having people cooperate with us. I think we all know the Biden administration stonewalling. Janet Yellen is stonewalling, not turning over the bank violations. But fortunately, since we've last spoken, we actually have bank records in hand. We have individuals who are working with our committee. In the last 2 weeks, we've met with either these individuals personally or with their attorneys. And that would be 4 individuals who had ties in with the Biden family on their various schemes around the world. So now we have in hand documents that show just exactly how the Biden family was getting money from the Chinese Communist Party. And I will tell you, it's as bad as we thought, Maria. It's very concerning. And in a way, I'm kind of glad that the Biden attorney, Abby Lowell, and the Biden administration has been stonewalling us, because when I requested that information 2 weeks ago versus today, because of what we have in hand now, we have a lot stronger case in court for why we need these documents that the Biden family is withholding and that the government's withholding. So they have unintentionally helped our case in our quest to get these documents to where we can give the American people the truth and the transparency that they deserve out of their leadership in Washington.
Congressman, this is so extraordinary. This is the #1 adversary of America, and you're telling us that the Biden family has accepted money. What does the CCP have on the Biden family? And is that the reason for the soft approach on China? We will slip in a short break, and then I want to get your take on what you are expecting out of that upcoming hearing of the Oversight Committee. Well, welcome back, and I am back with the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Congressman James Comer. Congressman, talk to us about Kathy Chung. She's coming in to get deposed by your committee. What are you expecting?
Well, we're going to have a transcribed interview with Ms. Chung. We have a lot of questions about her role in moving documents. We all know now that Joe Biden had mishandled classified documents in at least 5 different locations. We know from text messages and emails she got the job to help with the Biden family and moving documents at the recommendation of Hunter Biden. Given Hunter Biden what we see from bank records and from the emails and text messages with all the influence peddling he's done, we wonder why was Hunter Biden so concerned about Joe Biden's documents. So we have a lot of questions for Ms. Chung, and she's fortunately going to come in voluntarily, and we'll have an opportunity to hopefully get some answers.
Tell me about the bank records. Mr. Chairman, what have you learned from these bank records that you've gotten? These are Hunter Biden's bank records? These
are people affiliated with the different businesses, so to speak, that the Biden family was involved in with respect to this instance, China. And what it appears is there were a lot of transfers from account to account to account, many transfers on the same day. That's probably one reason they received so many suspicious activity reports, which are the bank violations from the banks. The banks would look at this like, well, they must be laundering money or something. I don't necessarily think they were laundering money, Maria. It looks to me like they were trying to hide the source of that money, and the source was the Chinese Communist Party. So my question to the Bidens when I get that opportunity is, if you're conducting legitimate business activities, why so many transfers? Why were you trying to hide the source of that money?
Well, we have to continue digging in on that. Mr. Chairman, thank you. We will see you soon. James Comer.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson tonight.